Morning. We're going to do kringe in the bos today, and it's at the Rheenendal area. Just paid a couple of 1 or 2 kilometers earlier on, and we're about to start. At the end, it's nice and cool here actually. Dalene Mathee. Looking forward to this walk. Excuse me, sir. A lot of trees, yeah. Beautiful forest. Pretty much what I expected this. Lots of trees and a lot of shade. Supposed to have a pool of some kind somewhere along the line, and we'll see. And a viewpoint. I think there's some swimming pool, some natural swimming pool if I remember correctly, and then some other natural. Have a look at this here. Dis 'n mooi boom daai.
Ja, kyk, kom staan, wag net gou hierso. Staan, kom staan, kom hier.
Lekker gaping daar tussen hulle.
Neem ons 'n foto deur die boom.
No, this is just
3 kilometers.
yeah, this is just a shorter option here. Actually, it gives the impression, I think, if you ask me, there would be people taking the wrong turn off because it doesn't say shorter option.
You've got to know. The
Yeah.
circles in the forest is 3, or is this just a circle?
There's 3 options, and that sign unfortunately just doesn't say this is the short one, the medium one, or the long one. All it says is
Kom ons hier op. Hierdie kant hier. Ja, nou onthou ek. Ja, sirkel in die ja. Want ons kom weer terug hier op. Okay. Ja, dit kom weer terug. Wat net nie ons net check.
misleidend sign daai, want hy
Ja, ek dink ons moet hier af. Maar hulle moet dit eintlik beter.
Ja,
En dis die sirkel.
kyk ons het nou so aangekom, ons gaan ons hier af, gaan ons so.
Nee, ja, okay. Ja, maar daar staan die foutjie ook.
start.
Nee, as jy iets so omgewing is, jy wil dit tog waardeer. Wat is nou van die harte bedeer?
Beautiful, beautiful forest. Slippery boardwalk. There are some nice boardwalks. Oh my god, are we now going to photographer taking a photo of a photographer?
Like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
This is very slippery.
Hello.
So I keep going up here.
They do warn you that it's slippery. Jeez, this is stunning.
I know, it's beautiful.
Fucking skimming. Just formal. I like these little planks, which is pretty much like at wilderness. I prefer not to put people on the video today because I already know of one of them who preferably doesn't want to be on it. Two in fact, two people that prefer not to be on photos and on video. So that's why I'm walking a little bit ahead here. We know people are ahead of me. Oh, lovely. In the forest the whole time. Got another sign there. Got another sign. Something about 1 kilometer. One kilometer. I can't believe that we only have 1 kilometer left. So I'm not too sure what that sign means. Okay. Yeah. That makes more sense. Ironwood. Actually, more commonly known in South Africa as Eysterhout. Even a lot of English people still refer to it as Eysterhout. Love the moss on all the trees here. Wherever there's a trail that Sandbox or Cape Nature has created, you've got a good chance of these little steps at appropriate places. Got people in front of me, so why not take it backwards? Climbing nice and steadily here. Climbing steadily.
As jy begin stap, nee, dan voel dit as jy eerste keer. Van die eerste 3 kilo's.
As long as other people don't know, mind that I go ahead. We're not playing Mr. Leader or anything today. The best place is to try and get ahead and take a video then. Otherwise, look into the back of people on the video the whole time, wondering if they want to be on it or not, or preferably not. And we get to some sun suddenly, breaking into an open piece of forest here. Either it was a woman laughing or a monkey. We are without any doubt doing the longer one. There are options. The lovely thing about this trail is that you can do it any time of the year because it's cool. That little bit of sun we've just had was probably the only piece of open sun in this entire section. Are they debating about something there now? Something about a photo. Vat hom van 'n ander angle af. So, this is what the trail involves most of the time. Plenty of birds to listen to. And if one separates a little bit from the group, then you can hear more of the birds. You don't want to leave your group too far behind or ahead. Clearly a lot of work that was done. Some work that was done creating this. You see the stumps that had to be cut.
Yeah.
Different looking. Bit of grass. Certainly enough for any little bosbokkies to feed on. Lovely. Forest the whole time. Everything is indigenous. We're not going through any sections that are invaded by wattle trees or pine trees. It's all just indigenous from the moment we entered the forest. From the moment we entered the forest. I'm sure there will be some viewpoints. There's supposed to be a swimming pool. Let's see how long it takes to get to the natural swimming pool or bath or whatever you want to call it. Take a clip or two there. Put this on a piece of video. Yeah, there it starts recording. What's its name? Is it again the
I don't know. I'm going to say it's one of the cup funguses.
cup fungus? It's a fungus. It's not a mushroom. It's a
Well, yeah. All of them are funguses, even the mushrooms. But
yeah.
I guess some just look more like the mushrooms that we know.
Yeah. Every time I see that, I automatically think mushroom. But you've brought to point. It's fungus. Got some beautiful color ones. There's one of my favorite spots in that piece of forest that leads not too far from where I stay, basically parallel with the railway line. There's one particular branch where you always have those orange, almost red, dark orange, come red.
Oh, the bracket funguses.
Yeah.
So they look like little shells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just always there.
Yeah.
New ones, old ones on this one particular branch. It's like one of my little icons on that piece of forest walk there. The difference between that forest walk and this one, this is all indigenous. With that forest walk, you've got indigenous spots, and then you pay a price, and then you get to a little pot where you're going to get some wattles, because all of it was actually originally created by a water pipeline that was laid there. So what they did is they opened up, who knows why, they go and open up like 30-40 meters wide for the sake of a pipeline that's about this wide. But that's what they did plenty of years ago, before my time in George anyway started. And then what also seemed to happen is that the trail sort of went in it, and then sticky for sticky sort of like cut out of it into a piece of natural forest here, and then the trail sort of changed gradually, where most of it is indigenous, at least now. It's still there, and it's perfectly accessible still. Most of it is indigenous. And one's got to also say thank you to some of the cyclists. I had mixed feelings when all the cyclists started, because 10 years ago there wasn't a single cyclist in the mountain. And I thought, oh, they're going to take over. But they've actually been a great pro, because they go and they help create a new trail, like this other shortcut that leads down from Tierkop straight down to the center point of the railway line. And one can have that as an option now. That didn't exist. They went and created it. So there's actually more pros, and they actually go out more than I do to go and maintain some of their most popular ones that they go and walk. Sometimes somebody's had to do it, and one can see that it clearly couldn't have been Sandparks or anybody, but them.
Yeah.
So it's actually a great advantage having them.
Yeah, absolutely.
One's just got to keep an eye out and make sure they don't ride over you.
I was there, but sometimes after we had those strong winds, those trees just fell like floors.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, those strong. Everybody still. Those were so strong that everybody still talks about the strong winds. The strong winds. That was just more than just a day. That just carried on. There's sections of the railway line starting from Denneoord, where you're walking along the railway line, where you can also just see Pine Flatten, where you've got a view of the mountain now, and because of all the pine trees that have broken on the same level. Funny enough, around about the halfway mark, where they all broke off. It's funny how not some that have broken down at the bottom and some higher up, but all of them at about the yeah. Probably they all the same age, same thickness, becomes same height.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Beautiful. So that's what a picnic looks like. Stunning. No, I thought. Go for it, yeah. I can ook sommer daar. Stunning.
Yeah, they are absolutely. I won't zoom on this bird app.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
there's a
beautiful.
wagtail, so you know they brood parasites. So they lay their eggs in
other ones' nests.
So
Yeah.
they never raise their babies. So there's a wagtail feeding a chick, pitmevrou.
A pietmevrou.
Yeah,
Oh,
because she
cute.
thought
Because
they were her eggs.
the wagtail thinks that the pietmevrou
Yeah,
is.
because as soon as the cuckoos hatch, they kick the other eggs or the other.
They're just lazy. Yeah.
They're
They're just lazy.
just clever, I think.
Very. Come on, red thing. Yeah. It's impossible to get lost here, that's for sure, from what I've seen. I could walk like this in the shade, in this forest, all day long. I actually Googled, I said to Esther, I went to a website and looked this up. I mean, after she'd already organized it, I thought, oh, well, I may as well Google it too and see what comes up. I get to, I think it was the Sandparks website, and the instructions, and we got to the instructions on, I noticed how to 8 kilometers out of Knysna turn right, or in other words from our side turn left 8 kilometers before Knysna, etc, etc, with Google Earth that I was doing. After seeing these instructions I thought, okay, let's go to Google Earth and we measure 8 kilometers. Sure enough, there's the road, the turn off to Karedo, 12.6 kilometers. We should have a turn off to the right. Oh yeah, there we go. And then I even took it a step further to see if I could maybe notice any of this trail in the forest, because sometimes you're lucky and you see a little gap, and other times not. I thought it's probably going to be unlikely that I'll notice any of this trail because it's going to be covered by trees. Okay, here we have a chill spot probably. Oh, we gaan ons hierdie chill spot vat. Hierdie is 10 net 'n lekker chill spot.
Kom ons op.
En eet ons hierso of wat?
Ja, jy moet af van daar so dis die rots, jy sit jou hand in en dan kom jy weer terug na.
Ja. Down, down, down we go. Down, down, down. Down we go. Down, down. Going to a nice chill spot here.
Yeah, got me mid-climb.
Beautiful, beautiful chill spot. Lovely. Obviously this little river must have a name. Stunning. Yes, I love chill spots like this. And something like this always comes out nice on a photo. We're just having a quick break still, so I may as well just take another little video of one of the scenic spots here where we've just had a bit of a breakfast break. A chill spot, like so many people would call things like this, a chill spot. There's quite a lot of water running down here. Beautiful. In the heart of, let's call it the Knysna forest. We're not that far out of Knysna. It's just 8 kilometers before Knysna that we took the turn off from the N2 to, I almost said Karedo again. Keep thinking Karedo, but it's Rheenendal, in the Rheenendal area. railway line.
Yeah.
From the top railway line, there's no clear mark. So experienced people would know when you reach the top railway line that you turn right.
Okay.
And probably walk about 30, 40, maybe even 50 meters. And then you've got your little pathway on the left. Yeah. And it's all uphill. Gradual, steep, until you get to... This is now the option where you avoid George Peak, where you've got nothing to do with George Peak anymore. So you're heading for the center of the saddle, basically the middle of George and Craddock. Once you get onto the saddle, some people are happy just to be on the saddle alone and see a view of the other part of the mountain, or other side of the mountain. And then
Yeah, he went up to avoid the rocky bit.
oh, okay. And as you get to the saddle, you turn left. There's options. A lot of people do that route to get to George Peak too. Start at Witfontein, up to the middle saddle, turn right to George Peak, or turn left to Craddock Peak.
Google it, that's the way they tell you, you know.
Yeah, it's by far the most common way. It's longer than the shortcut, but slightly more gradual. I haven't done the other shorter version of George Peak yet, which is obviously going to be more steep. I've always been so happy doing this particular route, but I've got a thing about numbers. So every time I get to an unequal number, I've got to go and do one of them again to get to an equal. So now, the other day when I went into George Peak with Esther again, that was my third George. But unfortunately I had done 8 Craddocks. So 8 plus 3 gives me 11. So I had to go into Craddock Peak again to make that 9 at least, so that 9 plus 3 is 12. So it's a bit nutty, but anyway. 2 unequals equals 12 at least now, rather. Now I've got to go and do both again, so that I can make a George 4 and Craddock 10. But I will do it. I will do them again at some stage, no doubt.
Are they brutal?
Yeah, Craddock is pretty brutal. Once you get to the saddle, or me specifically, it will obviously vary from one person to the other.
Yeah.
But once I get to the saddle, you've got quite a long, relatively moderate walk on the saddle when you're heading towards Craddock, and then your uphill starts. We've got flowers. And then your uphill starts. And then, I don't know if it's the elevation or what it is, but I would climb 10 meters and I'd rest. 20 meters and then I'd rest. But I made it. That's the last piece. I love seeing them. They eat all your mozzies and your flies.
Yeah.
Dragonflies. Whenever you go camping, you want to see as many dragonflies as possible. Okay, this seems like an option for another viewpoint there, probably another chill spot probably. Stream number 2. With ferns. Lovely. I'm going to carry on recording because it's all equally as beautiful, and this is a true reflection of the whole trail. Forest walk. It's all forest walk. Indigenous forest walk. No wattle trees, no pine trees. You've got your yellowwoods, stinkwood, ironwood, easterhout. and plenty of shade. I would do this.
Wow.
Do this. There's maybe a nice spot for an owl or something there. I would do this in February, even if it's at its hottest. I'll try and focus on something a little bit different on the odd occasion. This is healthy for us because you can walk right in it as well.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be on the trail. That gives you a sign that it's healthy.
I'm intrigued to know what these are.
What's that?
These creeper type things, but they have this very brown new growth.
Yeah. I don't know. These little things. I don't know. Yeah, we've got quite a big tree. What is this? Ironwood, I think. It's definitely not a yellowwood. It looks like either stinkwood or ironwood. Those are the other two most common ones. Just had a bit of a steep incline. This looks like a forestry road, probably. Very open, so it's very quiet, very likely to be in use by conservation or something because it's good condition. En ons swem. Ek bring net ander shorts om mee te swem. Want dis my een shorts of sonder daai tennis, daai sportklere. Hulle word vinnig droog. En as dit 'n baie warm dag is, swem ek in my hemp. Laat my hemp my koud hou. Koel hou. Daai dag toe ek na Hoekwil toe stap van Georgia van die binnekant van die berg. Warm. As ek enige water kon vind, net my hemp nat gemaak. My koel te hou. Is op die 3de dag gewees.
Kyk, daar gaan dit nie mis nie.
Jy het baie lus om kaal te sien, jy mis hom. Julle mis hom. Hy is 'n spesiale persoon.
Ek het baie gesien uitgegaan. Ek het gesien. Ek sien hom van genade. Ek wil net jou water oor die dak doen. Ek kom nou eendag hier is dit pas nog nie kuier. Kom kyk sien. Ja. Hy sê besig om die dak op te klim. Ek sien hoe jy kom so daar op klim.
Hy is 'n verskriklike inspirerende persoon.
Water is uit Dalene, nie?
Jou linkerkant.
Enige kant. Ek was aan die kant.
Daar's hy.
Thank you.
Ek dink ek gaan my energy ook uithaal. And up we go still. This off-road. Up doesn't stop. Every time you get to a turn, you are convinced that you're going to be at the top. And then the turn continues going up. And the next turn. And the next turn. Okay. This is going to be a little bit more gradual from about here. Maybe even close to level. I'm just walking ahead, a little bit ahead because I've got a smoke in my hand here. Plenty of them in the forest. And lots of songololos. Songololo. 1000 poot, 3000 poot. Look at this tree. Completely hollow. Completely hollow on the inside here. Stunning. I'm going to take a photo of this. Ek sal nie sleg hoef te voel as ek nou nie lus is vir draf skielik en ek besluit ek gaan hom. Draf is vir die voels. Dus tennis is lekker. Ek het nou onlangs in die afgelope 2 maande tennis begin speel met so 'n partner wat by die kafee gewerk het. Sy kon ook doen met gewig verloor. Moedig ek haar aan, ek sê kom ons gaan speel tennis. Ek het 'n tennisraket. Sy het toevallig een. Ek kry vir ons 'n paar tennisballe van tydklot. Dit is nou vir jou lekker want jy kom nie eens agter. Jy's besig om oefening te kry want alles is random. Dis nie 21 soos draf nie. As 'n mens draf, alles bly dieselfde as jy draf. Tennis gaan jy linkerkant toe, regterkant toe. Jy weet nie wat se kant kom die bal nie. Dis 'n lekker manier om fiks te word. Dis dit. Ja. As ek en sy speel, dan stel ons ook nie belang in deuce en advantage nie. Ons slaan net die bal. Al bounce daai bal nou 2 keer. Wag ons maar laat hy daai tweede keer bounce solank ons hom net na die terug kry na die ander kant toe. Dis 'n lekker sport. Môre het ek 12 km om weer te stap.
Nee, waar?
Na die ou dam toe. Stap saam as jy.
I'm not going to make it.
Well, had I known that this was going to materialize today,
Yeah.
I would not even have organized tomorrow's one. But it's for the sake of Cole now, and I can meet his friend Alan,
Yeah.
that's going to do it. And I wasn't expecting something like 20 people to join the group by now, 22 I think to be exact. But Hester myself know by now from experience that you can forget about all 22 pitching.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, I wasn't keen, but I've got my next jump session on Monday, and I don't think I'll be able to move if I do 2 walks.
yeah, it's easy. It's definitely going to be an easy one. I'm not even making it a
Yeah, I'm very
circular
keen
route.
to go and see, so I'll definitely join the next time we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a U-turn. Last time I did it, for the first time, I made it a circular route. Ever since the cyclists, it created a specific section
Yeah.
that never existed before. And thanks to that very specific section, that's almost impossible to describe now, but thanks to that particular section,
Yeah.
it's been possible to make it a circular route now,
Okay, that's nice.
where you actually absolutely totally avoid the railway line.
Yeah.
You just literally cross it. There's mixed feelings about the railway line. Some people are willing to go on it, other people don't want to be on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to avoid it, but I'm not doing the circular because I've put it down as easy. And really, if anybody that walks that doesn't regard it as easy, they shouldn't be walking anywhere
Yeah.
ever, actually, because it's all as level pebble as can be to that old dam.
Okay.
The forest is relatively level for the first 3 kilometers. Then you've got a gradual uphill where from there on it's just level pebble
Yeah.
and same way back. And you're basically walking all along, crossing like this towards the dam when you're in the catchment area. Now I've made that promise. I've got to take them.
Deliver, yeah.
I've probably been to that dam close to 50 times by now. It's always nice standing on it. That's one thing people like about the dam, is that you don't only go to it, you stand on it,
Yeah.
you walk across it, and everybody naturally just looks down to realize how high they are, because from far off the dam can actually look quite small
Yeah.
until such time as you're standing on it.
Is that the wall that's in the picture?
Yeah, that picture is taken from the water side. I didn't search long enough for a more appropriate one, which would be from the opposite side. That one there is just taken from the
Yeah.
waterside. We've just come back out of there, which is where we entered, and we are back here,
Thanks very much, everyone.
and we are back here.
I thought this halfway I was in trouble.
Since we've still got a bit of time, why not look here? People and plants of the garden route. Changes in society have disappeared while others have remained in. Number one, growing into big industries such as industry and the use of population. Medicinal plants such as aloes. We've got cooks, diviners, farmers and gardeners, woodworkers, housekeepers, quite interesting. History of forest management in the garden route. Now this, I could stand here and read this all day long. From 1892 to 1939, woodcutters era, conservation, recreation, harvesting. Oh, that goes back for 1750 to 1855, the Dutch colonists. Pre-colonial history. Sand hunters going quay. Think about it, it's not that long ago, 300 years ago. Ecosystem services from the forest in the garden route. Interesting that this falls under sandbox. Sandbox, not Cape Nature. Exactly what the difference, where they separate, what the one does versus the other, I'm not sure. Because I'm always used to seeing Cape Nature signs. This is clearly sandbox. Beautiful. And now we are at the end, heading home. Was definitely worth it. Stunning here. Just forest. Niels. Now, I was at the end of the video, but now we're going to get to the end of the video. One of the guys who joined us was Niels. Joined us today. And what he does is he paints little rocks. What a nice little hobby he's got. Paints little rocks, little stones. And I'll show you now. As he paints them, he makes a point of leaving one or two at the bases where he goes walking, such as this, for the love of hiking. Cheers, guys. I was convinced he's going to take it back. Cheers, enjoy it. And he leaves it there for anybody else to take, and anybody else that wants it. Wat sê hulle van haar? Often came, Dalene often came to Christian's neck, where she replenished the soul to all the stories were about the forest. This is where she now rests. Interesting. I love that scan.
Ja, scanning.
Why not record the Rheenendal area? Bubbly's Hoek. From the off-road onto the tar road. The end.